Hi everybody, I'm Marcia McKerrow.
Hello everyone, I'm Carol Cooper.
And we haven't got anybody with us today because what we thought we'd do this time round is have a bit of a stock take on the videos that we've done so far and have a bit of a chat about how we feel about them, how we think things are progressing, what changes we would like to make in terms of what's gone out so far and the feedback that we've received from the videos that we've done so far. So we thought we'd have the conversation around the 5 videos that we've done, and that would be, if you can help me out with this, CC. We've done Catherine Schermacher,
followed by Nikki Davis.
So Catherine Schermacher's Love to Climb. Nikki Davis was the CEO of Wava Global.
She is, and followed by Neil Hallam.
Neil Hallam, the photojournalist.
He is, and you did Quentin
Kopp. Yeah, chairman of Pollywood Limited. Yeah.
We completed the 5 with Karen Joy Langley.
Yeah, Karen Joy Langley, from Stop Getting Stressed Out, which is brilliant. So a real range of people that we've done so far, and so the questions that we've had to research the questions a little bit, which is great. That makes it unique to those individuals. Have been well received by everybody that we've interviewed so far, which has been good. What do you think? How do you feel about what we've done so far?
I think what we've done so far has created a really good feel-good factor between us and them, if you like, that to share this information and to learn. I felt as if it was a huge learning curve for me, and not that I've never, obviously never been with people or in professional people and in conversation. But as time goes on and you learn a little bit about that person you're talking to, it educates you in the way you think.
Yeah.
So I've enjoyed a lot of education through conversation.
Yeah, yeah. And it's interesting that you talk about, the learning curve. Being around the people that you talk to, I've found the learning curve around the technology and dealing with, downloading the interviews and getting them up onto YouTube, and some of the feedback that we've had, which has been really good, around how people can navigate the interviews better if we gave them a bit more of a blurb about what the content is to each of the videos. So that's been really interesting for me, and that's been like immediate feedback, which is brilliant to get that, because people are engaging in that process. And some of the comments that we've had on YouTube have been really nice.
They have, but delightful.
So that's been, about how people are perceiving the interviews and the information that we've got. And so we know we want to get more subscribers to our YouTube channel. We want to get more people engaging in the videos. But I'm pleased. I'm really pleased with what we've done so far, and the messages that are coming back. So even if people haven't put a message on Facebook or LinkedIn, we are getting the messages, privately messages or emailed to us, which has been lovely, which has been great. So out of the 5 that we've talked about, they've all been really memorable, I suppose. But which one have you thought, well, actually, that's resonated with me the most?
Yes, as you say, they've all been good in their own way, and it's really, really hard to choose. But firecracker standard has to be Karen. Wow, straight in. I can be a bit like that myself sometimes, bang, straight in and entertaining. But it did resonate with me with the way I am and the way I do things, and especially when I was in my office days and working with teams of people.
Yeah.
So that really did, and the overall attitude, the positiveness of the person, not to take that away from anybody else, because they all were positive. But the firecracker that was Karen Joy. and how I like to feel when I'm in a room with a team. You know, you don't want to be solemn or whatever. You need it to be interesting and lively. So I got a lot from that. Yeah.
I think for me, it would be the Catherine Schumacher interview.
Right.
And because that really took me back to the early days of setting up Discover Your Best.
Yeah.
And at that time, it was shortly after I'd set up, and I can remember coming to see you in Sheffield and going out for lunch and popping up my laptop and saying, look, this is what I'm involved in now. This is what I'm doing. How do you fancy coming on board? You know, so and Catherine was one of the very first early people that I saw that was recommended to me through another colleague that was at NHS then. And her journey, although I've been using the coaching and mentoring skills in my job that I was doing, it was the first time that I'd sat down and thought to myself, wow, the impact of that on somebody's life, that I'm not, you know, that's my career, my business, me through my business having that impact on somebody. And so it was the first time when she was talking, it really took me back to that place where she first arrived, and we were having that conversation. So yeah, that for me, that's the one that stands out the most for me, and in a really nice way. I mean, one of the later videos you talked about what somebody had said being like a warm blanket, and you know,
is that your warm blanket?
Yes, Marcia? It is. It was. It was my warm blanket, actually, because you forget about those times, don't you? Those early days when you're just out on your own. I mean, we're 15 years in now, so it's So that interview took me back to a really nice place. I'm not saying that where I am now is not a nice place, but it was, you know, it's that early, fresh, new, exciting, ultra motivated time where I was had some of the bits like the Karen Joy Langley. Because it was all so good and so exciting and so new, and nothing was a bother in those days.
But
now,
also,
I must say,
the blanket is the other thing where your enjoyment of what you did and how probably frightened you were about stepping out there on your own. And if that comes from Catherine and is your blanket, that is a lovely fundamental memory and start for the business, because it obviously made you feel good and secure and just able to move on, which is very positive.
It took me back to handing in my resignation.
Oh, right.
From the NHS. You know, and how, you know, that time was really exciting time, but also a really, really scary time. And some of the conversations that I'd had, so some of the questions that we're asking people, I remember people saying things similar sort of to me as I was approaching leaving. Like, I can always remember somebody saying at Street Health Authority, aren't you going to miss having your car?
Yeah.
And I can remember looking at this chap thinking, well, why am I going to miss my car? And I think the inference there was that the car was a company car.
Oh, yeah, of course. The old Crown car system,
Yeah, but actually it was it was my car anyway, so no, I wasn't going to I wasn't going to miss it. I was going to drive it, park it on the driveway.
You obviously had one.
Yeah. So it was, I remember some of those conversations before starting up. And so, some of the people, when we talk about the motivators and the antagonists that we've had, some of those conversations fall back into fall into your mind again, don't they? And get you thinking about get you thinking about things.
You'd never think about that on a daily basis through your journey, but obviously it takes days like this and our togetherness like this today, to make us think, which is another great pathway that we're walking along in this conversation today as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So what do you think you've discovered about you during this process?
I think not that you never listen to people, but I think I've started to hear the words more. Not that I didn't before. I don't mean that, because it sounds like I never listened to what anybody said to me.
I know what you mean, though. I do understand what you're saying.
But I think doing this individually and doing this on Zoom the way we've done it, and listening to the story, and because it's a story, the questions lead to the story of that person's life. So I've heard it more. So discovering what about me more is that I've always listened to what people have said, but I've heard more, and it's been really interesting because I've learned an awful lot about people that you wouldn't normally know until you end up and engage in a relation in a meeting or an interview like that. So I think that is one of the main things, and just that I'm still able to enjoy it. I've got an HR background where you deal with people and their problems. I've got a lot of that in me, but to still enjoy it after all these years is wonderful. So if I've learned anything, that's got to be it.
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? Reflecting on it.
Yes.
And thinking back about your own progress in your own life, really, and how I might have answered that question if I was on the receiving end of it.
That's made me think that way, most certainly. When I've read the questions, I've thought, what would I say to that?
Yeah.
So again, it's about listening or reading and taking it in and spending more time.
Yeah.
So
one of the things that's come up for me is how lucky's not the right word. Lucky's not the right word, but how I'll use the word lucky because I can't think of another word to use at this time, but how lucky we are to have the people that we've got around us that are willing to be interviewed in this way. I know we're a bit dogged and we will chase people down.
Yeah, we're a little bit determined, aren't we?
Determined's a really good word, actually, rather than dogged. But how people have said, I'll be delighted to be part of the process, or thank you for the opportunity to be part of it. That has really made me feel good about what we do and what Discover You Best does, because that is a measure of how they view the business, in my mind, that they would say that,
I agree.
So for me, that's been brilliant, listening to them say, tell me when, give me some dates, and I'll be there. I look forward to it.
Never been any hesitation. And I think that's a good reflection on you as well, Marcia, as well as business.
Thank you on us, because we do this stuff together. We know we've got Pete there in the background helping us out with all the financial bits and stuff like that. But actually, in terms of the front line of it, there's only the two of us, isn't there? There's only us two out there trying to make this happen. So yeah, so that for me is really, really good, really, really exciting. And I'm looking forward to the, we've done quite a few so far, as I mentioned earlier. We're only talking about the first 5, but my head's already ahead of me, thinking about the other ones that we've done so far, and it's hard to just stay within that bracket of the 5, isn't it? But so having people say, yes, Marcia, I would be delighted to be part of the interview process, and let me know. And yes, we know that we are also promoting what they do, but they don't need us. they're out there doing their thing, just me.
Yeah, they
and
are
doing it very nicely. Thank you very much.
Yeah, very well.
So for them to want to be part of it is brilliant, and I'm learning so much, as you've said already, about things that I would want to change and things that I would want to do differently in terms of DYB.
And it's like a light bulb moment sometimes, isn't it? When you're listening to what these wonderful people are saying, and you think, oh yes, I get that, or yeah, I would have maybe done that, but you don't remember that you would have done it. So it's been 1 or 2 light bulbs have gone on, and reminder switches have gone on, for me, which has been great. Yeah.
What has surprised you about the interviews?
I don't think anything has really surprised me. I might come back to that in a second, if I may. Enlightenment is the other word we've used in the past, you and I. And I've just been amazed and enlightened by people's experiences, determination, and I'm sure they've had times when, with the best will in the world, business hasn't always been great, but they're still in there doing it at whatever cost, and enlightened by their journeys and their stories. Yes, I suppose I could say surprised about how people are so determined to succeed. So, you're thinking, goodness my, they're still here today after 20, 30 years or whatever. But I think just enlightened is the main thing for me, that I've learned so much about people's journeys, their determination, and how they've managed to change pathways, because they've had to. It hasn't all been plain sailing. Like ourselves, we do this exactly the same, but it's recognizing that change, isn't it? That is enlightening, and it's not the norm living in boxes all the way through your life, where you think, oh, I'll tick that one and that works. So yes, happily enlightened about people's journeys, and the braveness, if that's the word, of them recognizing that they needed to change and move on to be successful. What about you, Marcia? Have you been?
I think I've been really bowled over by people sharing some of their challenges and their vulnerabilities.
Yes, again, yeah.
The things that have really impacted their lives, that have led on to the things that you've just been talking about in terms of wanting to make, or needing to make a change. Absolutely. So some of the things that have impacted people's lives and made them vulnerable, which has led us to have the discussion around having parts 1 and 2 of different interviews, because some of the stuff we'd not thought would come, we didn't know what was coming up. So although we send out, these is sort of the ballpark area that we're going to be talking about, those things in people's lives are so interlinked that it spills out into other stuff that's going on for them in life. A whole
new ballpark area.
And so some of the, seeing people's, we are used to seeing people's strengths and seeing people do what they do and do well.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also equally nice to see some of that vulnerability
Mm-hmm.
and some of the challenges and
Yeah.
some of the things that they need to hold on tight to remain content with their own lives when everything is changing around them. So I'm looking forward to picking up on the part 2 interviews and delving a bit deeper into some of the stuff that people have mentioned in the part 1 that we've not been able to really touch on, but we've come away going, would you mind doing a part 2? Because we really would love to have have a conversation. So I, once people are getting into the flow of the interview, then they share these things with you, don't they, openly, which has been a real pleasure.
I think you're right there. Pleasure is the word, and how relaxed they've been with us as well.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's really good stuff.
Mm-hmm. So, Marcia, can I just ask you a question? What do you really think that the common theme has been for everyone throughout the 5 interviews we've done so far?
I think the being true to yourself. I think that's come out in pretty much every single one of the interviews. Have your set of core values, know what they are and why they're important to you, and stay in that lane. There's always people trying to attach labels to you, and some of those labels are being attached with good intent. There's no maliciousness about it, behind it, but it still doesn't make it something that you should adhere to. If it doesn't feel comfortable for you, where somebody sees you going isn't necessarily where you see yourself going, and that doesn't necessarily mean it's where you're going is wrong.
No,
it's
not
just
at all.
that it's different. It's different to where people envisage you being. I see you doing more stuff in the corporate world and doing more. Well, that's great. That's exciting for me to think about that, but it's not necessarily where I envisage spending a lot of my time.
No.
I enjoy doing, I enjoy doing what I'm doing. So that's been quite interesting. That stuff about core values, and staying on your lane, in your lane, and making your value base work for you. And I've done a lot of corporate stuff. I've done a lot of been out there and done a lot of corporate training and thoroughly enjoyed it. And I do stuff now where I'm working within education, delivering courses and things, and I thoroughly enjoy that. And for me, it's about how do I get the balance and marry those things together, so that I feel content with what I'm doing. That for me. So I've spent a good few. I know we've had this conversation. Been thinking about the core values bits, and it's made me sit up and think. Am I staying true? To what I really want to be doing. And in essence, I think I am. Sometimes I get a bit knocked off track, but actually I have this knack of being able to step back and say, well, actually that's not for me. I will let that one by. That's okay, and I'm not going to worry about letting that go by. It's fine, because I don't feel that was for me.
I think that's the magic of recognition, isn't it? That you recognize that it's not right for you, and you and I, over the years, because we've been together a long time, we've seen that happen. But when we've gone, oh yeah, let's think about that again, or you said to me, perhaps that's not good, or maybe we shouldn't be doing or thinking this way, or whatever. I think it's good because recognition is healthy.
Hmm.
And I mean, the way I feel overall is the way we do is the need to do things for yourself to be happy and deliver in a good way, so that people know that you're feeling good about what you're doing.
Yeah.
They receive it differently, don't they? They just feel differently about what you're saying to them. So to do it for yourself and just to show and share your passion.
Yeah.
Is one of the big things I've taken from all of the people, all of our interviewees, that whatever they've done, they've enjoyed sharing their passion, and every passion leads to a plan.
Yeah.
So they've
Yeah.
what's been born out of that is a new plan, new pathway, new way forward. So so it's been enlightening, using that word again.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I talked about earlier sort of like the feedback that we've had, and I've mentioned some of it already. Particularly the bit that struck me was having a bit more of the preamble about what the videos are about, so people can navigate those better. There's been other feedback around having more videos, and I'm not sure how we physically do that, because we're putting them out, a couple of times, 1 or 2 times a week. We try to do 2 times a week, but it doesn't always work out like that. I think we've so far we've managed to do it pretty much twice a week.
Wednesday and Saturday. Yeah, absolutely.
But having more videos come out, I think would be a bit of a killer. I'm not sure how we'd physically do that. So if anybody's got any ideas on how we could navigate that would be good.
It'd be very helpful. Thank you very much. Yeah.
We have got a lot of people on our contacts lists and database that we want to make contact with, and we will be making contact with, but we have to do it in a bit of a structured way, don't we? So we don't get ourselves in a mess, which we did pretty much in the early days.
Well, it's the passion. It's the passion and showing and sharing.
Yeah. It was like dates going all over the place. So, but we honed that now. So we've got that, pretty much bang to rights. Yes, I found it a real pleasurable stride through people's working lives, and you did say earlier that we've been working with these people for a while in different format, so having that opportunity to ask the questions in this way does give us a different insight into the people that we have either done some work for, or they've worked with us, or we've got in our network in terms of in a circle. It's been interesting to have those conversations on this level, really. So it's been really enjoyable. I'm excited about the future. I'm excited about doing more of them, and it takes me back it does take me back, I suppose, to our recruitment time, because it is it's not like recruitment interviews, but asking the questions.
It does take you back. I mean, you've obviously done a lot of that, and crikey, I used to interview for the critical psychology course at the university from the HR point of view, but crikey, it takes you back. Just shows you all types of interviews that we've done over the time. I think again, it's sort of it's like a piece of plasticine. You rub it till it becomes smooth, and then you tear it apart, and then you re-rub it. It's hard to explain, really. It's a case of you get a rocky road, and then we get over it, then we remember the good things that we did during the rocky road, you know.
Yeah.
So it's yeah, it's been really enjoyable.
Yeah,
Thoroughly
absolutely.
enjoyed it. Yeah.
So we're going on now to the next lot of interviews, but we just want to put a message out there to say thank you guys for supporting us. Those of you that have subscribed to our YouTube channel, we're really, really grateful for you being there. And for those of you that have actually put comments out or messaged some of the people that we've made, we've interviewed, and you know, really pleased about that, actually, that you're making those links, which,
Yeah.
you know, that's so exciting that's happening as well. Just please keep watching, please keep subscribing, and please keep commenting and giving us your feedback, because we do really, really appreciate it. Carol and I,
do. Yeah.
Carol and I will be being interviewed ourselves. So we're going to put that call out for people who want to interview us to find out a little bit more about our lives. So we thought that would be quite interesting to do, to be on the other side of the fence.
Yeah. Did I say that was when I was flying somewhere, when we can fly somewhere?
Yeah. So that should be really interesting. But we wanted to say, you know, just a huge thank you, really.
Yes. Thank you very much indeed to everybody. Like Marcia has just said, you know, we really do appreciate all your feedback. We just appreciate you being there, and thank you so much.